All right, well, we can get started. Janessa, please, if you ever crackle your things, please mute your thing, because that is so loud.
Let me get a paper towel and put them on it.
Okay, gotcha. But that came in hot.
That sounded like Fig Newtons.
Yeah.
Damn. Can you please be quiet?
Okay.
Janessa, what was that? Oh, chips. Yeah. I swear it sounded like that plastic container that the Fig Newtons come in.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Janessa's like, I need a snack. I'm doing a podcast. I'm going to get the loudest thing on earth.
Absolutely.
I like Cape Cod chips, though. I do. I like the kettle chips.
Me too.
Yeah, so do I. But still, it is the loudest snack you could possibly get. Like carrot sticks would have been quieter.
My other snack's not that quiet either, but I'm going to try to make it be.
Well, I'm going to send you some Cheez-Its then.
Let me just open it real quick.
What was that? That looked like Lucky Charms.
It was Lucky Charms.
Yeah, oh, it is Lucky Charms.
In a snack bag for size.
Well, I was gonna say that's not really a snack.
That look like a bag they make for people who don't want to eat it with milk. You just want to pour it in your hand and just.
That's right.
You just pour the milk in the bag and just shake it up for even coverage. And then you just pour it like this.
Okay.
No, you got to do it Get Out style, where you just eat them and then take a sip of milk and then just eat it and take a sip of milk like a crazy person.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
All right, let's crank up. Boom Shakalaka. The Boom Shakalaka of 2023.
Top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world.
Hey Janessa, you wanna introduce this one, because Kellie and Terry, they both did one. So you wanna be like, hey, welcome to the Worst Ones. Yada yada. No? Okay.
Get somebody else to do it.
Welcome to the Worst Ones podcast.
Okay, I got it.
That's right.
I got it.
You sure? Because I can do it again if you want.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
All right.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Worst Ones podcast. This is the safe place for preachers' kids. Happy 2023. We're back. Hope your holidays were great and wonderful and magnificent and safe. Hopefully you didn't get no DUIs,
I feel like that was directed at me.
Not a DUI.
Well, I'm talking to our listeners, so but a hit dog will holler.
Okay. I'm grown. I take it.
Terry.
But like I said,
my girl don't drink, so I always got a DD. So don't worry about it. 500 million followers.
You're the only person who brought it up. So
you brought it up first.
No, we weren't accused. I'm talking about you. I was just saying, anybody out there listening, hope you didn't get no DUI. Hope you didn't get arrested. Hope you just had good, clean fun. And you came to the new year already giving up on your resolutions. What's it called? Yeah, all that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So let's start with our most, I guess, vacationed.
Most well rested. Well rested.
Well, that's what I meant. I mean, vacationed, well rested. Like that's what I meant. She had a good little break, but we haven't seen her in a while. So we will start with her, Janessa, Rowland, J. Rihanna.
Yes, I'm glad to be
Welcome
back. I
back.
did miss y'all.
How are you?
Miss y'all. I'm back and I'm like 90% healed. I can pretty much do, clear to do what I was gonna do, work out, stuff like that, except just take it slow. So I'm glad it all went well. I feel better. I have more energy. My back doesn't hurt like it used to. So I'm good.
That's good.
I had a lot of time to like reflect on myself.
I was gonna say you got to have more than that. You have plenty of time to think about it.
I had a lot to think about over those times. So I think a lot of healing happened that needed to happen. I got my house together, washed a bunch of clothes. And then most importantly, got a lot of rest. There were days where I just ate and slept and ate, watched TV, the TV watched me,
Gotcha.
And I really needed it. I really needed it. So I definitely feel rested. You might see a little glow. A little some.
Good.
So yeah.
What did the holidays look like? The festivities and all that for your?
We had a good time. So we did, church on Sunday morning, and then I went to my parents' house and we opened presents over there. My mom, dad, and my brother. He's here for the holiday. And then we went to my sister's house later that evening and did dinner and more presents and games over there. But then we also had like a family game night the last Friday of the year with, extended family, second, third cousins and stuff like that. And that was the time. My gosh. Wow. We had a good time.
Good.
So, yeah.
Good.
Everybody. Oh, go ahead. No, I was going to say there was this game that I think everybody in their family should play. I think it's called Dance Telephone. So basically everybody faces backwards and the first two people like look at each other and the first person starts doing a dance, it could be a little, and then you keep going down like the next person and you do the dance and the last person is going to do what they got as the dance and the first person is going to do their dance. But when you're playing with people from like different generations and different ages, like they really can't do certain stuff. And so by the time you get to the end, I don't know what we were doing. It was funny. It was absolutely funny. So play it if you can. And yeah, I had a good time. We had a time last night.
That's all right. I'm glad to hear that. That's good to hear good, good stories, especially during the holiday times when everybody's off work and able to link up and kick it. You know what I'm saying? So that's good. I'm very, very happy, especially that you were able to, actually enjoy it because you were more recovered by that time. So
I am too.
Yeah.
Terry and Rudy, have y'all been cutting up on the podcast?
Yes, we've been left with no supervision. So.
I'm about to say not no more than normal. It ain't been,
it's been a little more than normal.
No, only thing that was more than normal was you and Kellie last week.
That's more than normal, isn't it?
2 weeks ago, rather.
Well, we were just going back and forth. I was saying why she always late, especially when she ain't got nothing else to do. The whole week she's like, I just been sitting around enjoying, relaxing. I was like, why are you an hour late then?
It started because we were talking about are hypocrites in the church worse than like hypocrites outside the church or whatever.
Okay.
And so, but I threw a little shade because I was like, so speaking of hypocrites, but I was talking about both of them. And so they both was like, well, he ain't talking about me. Because Terry, you the one, man. Well, Kellie, you the one, man. They just kept going, and I just
She threw my nap times in.
It was so funny.
As if that was hilarious.
The same. Well, don't fear. The regulator is back. Okay.
Yeah. Good. We need it. We need somebody to keep the water level right.
The regulator is back. Okay.
Well, Terry Weezy, how was your holidays and your break and everything?
Christmas was a lot of work for me. Normally I'm the gift guy. I always do the big gifts or whatever. Like they always wonder what I'm coming in with. But this year was a little lighter. Me and my siblings got together and pooled some money together and got my dad a recliner.
Okay.
He's had
I remember you told us about that.
Yeah, he's had long COVID for 2 years, and it's really messed him up quite a bit. to where it's hard for him to move. It's hard for him to get out of chairs and things like that. So we got him one of those recliners that like stands him up when he wants to get out of it. So he's been appreciating that. My sister Chelsea came in from Greenland. My brother Hunter came in from Vegas, where he's at now.
Yeah, when we gonna get to meet these brothers, Hunter and sister?
These other PKs.
Whenever, whenever you can, nail their feet to the floor. But
man, don't get me. I got siblings y'all haven't met either. So
we all kind of we're in the wind. My whole family on both sides. We all kind of just do what we do. No, but since my other sister Trinity, the one that's been on the podcast, she's already moved up to Tennessee. So, how you doing, Kelly? So normally that's the the one central family member, like the most stable or whatever, and then everybody comes to their place. That was her. So with her gone, we just kind of didn't know what to do. So I said I'll take the cooking on, and then we can just do it at Dad's house. So that was it. It was It was those two and my dad and my girlfriend and. I made a spread though. Ooh, honey glazed ham and on the bone and greens and sweet potatoes. Best sweet potatoes I ever made in my life. Little bourbon in there is the trick. Yeah, it cuts through all the sweetness and kind of little bourbon and some roasted pecans. And then pecan pie and cornbread and.
Jerry, I gotta taste your cornbread.
Why?
I just want to know what it tastes like.
It's
cornbread.
Earthy.
Cornbread is a staple in the Black household, so
it's stable in a Southern household, which is what we are. So. Yeah.
She just want to make sure you're doing, because because we do know you can cook, but she's just trying to check you across the board. She's like, I done had your bacon, nigga, but your cornbread is different.
You should try my greens, actually.
Well, they come together, Terry. You didn't know?
Okay, I didn't know because there's so many things you can do with cornbread. But this year, because I was doing so many other things, like. I had to make a pecan pie. I made all the food, everything that was eaten. So I had to make the greens, the sweet potatoes, the pie, the ham, the roasted potatoes, like everything. This year with the cornbread, I just went with a Jiffy mix and then juiced it up a little bit of honey and some herbs from my garden, because I hate when cornbread's too sweet.
See, I can. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
It's no. You want some sweetness. You want some sweetness.
That's the problem right there.
You gotta balance the flavors. You gotta balance the flavors.
No, you don't.
Too sweet's not good. Too sweet's not good.
Terry, I like my cornbread salty.
Not.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Not salty.
I'm just kidding.
And besides, the best cornbread is the one that's cooked on top of chili. Oh, you make your chili, you put it in a casserole, you put your cornbread on top, and you bake it on top of it, and it soaks in. Oh, forget it. You don't even know. Yeah, you don't even know. That's one pot meals from the cowboy country, is what that is. And I'm not even Western, but a good idea is a good idea. So
I ain't mad at it.
I ain't mad at it either.
Well, Kelly Lee, welcome to 2023. How are you?
Oh, sorry. Before we move on, I didn't say about New Year's. New Year's was the one that I was super proud of.
Okay.
Probably the best New Orleans style seafood boil I've ever made in my life. Dungeness crab legs, 2 pounds of shrimp and andouille sausage, potatoes, corn, and the best spice mix I've ever made in my life. Oh, it was so good. Went to my girl Gio's house, had a little shindig with about 6 people. It was perfect. Walked in, ate. Everybody was full. Nobody wanted to leave, but then they were still like, let's walk down to the bars and do the New Year's thing.
Right.
Gotcha. Yeah, and then like 5 people got hit by a car on Atlantic Avenue.
There you go.
What?
Yeah, right near where we were, and there was.
That's crazy. That's sad.
No, they're okay.
So were they okay?
Yeah, they were okay, but it was a story on the news. But that's why we were literally headed there, and I just said, let's just stop at this place. It looks fun. Let's just do it here. So dodged a bullet on that one.
Good. Wow.
Yeah. All right, Kellie Lee, finally in the building.
Mm-hmm.
Did I miss Janessa's comeback?
Yeah. It was the first thing. We're doing holiday recaps, and it's on you. What theme park did you go to this time?
And Janessa had a great time, by the way. Just let you know.
I did. I forgot to say, for my New Year's, I had an impromptu Beyonce party.
Okay.
Some friends came over. We wore our Renaissance shirts and had a time.
Beyonce showed up, I assume.
In spirit, maybe.
Well, I mean, we got 500 million followers. She should show us a little love.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't know she was one of our followers. Kellie, you didn't tell me.
Terry told me. I didn't know until just now.
No, I'm just saying we got a lot of clout. That's 500 million followers. She needs to, she doesn't want us talking trash on here about the Queen Bee, that's going to hurt sales.
Absolutely not.
That hurts the brand,
We would never. But recovery, all that was okay?
About 90% recovered.
Okay.
My first day of work was Tuesday, and it's really hard. It's really hard to get.
You had to go in, or you work from home?
No, I'm teleworking. That's why it's really hard, because I'm still in let's nap all day and eat all day mode.
Right.
But it's fine.
Well, considering it's a transition. It's a stepping stone to going back to work.
Mm-hmm. And school starts in January at the end of the month. So
okay, at least you have a little more time.
Lucky for you, it's winter and the garden's dead anyway, so you don't have to worry about that.
It is. The garden is dead. But I do have a few more houseplants. Okay. We're not even gonna talk about that thing.
You just spill some water out of a glass onto those. That's how you do. Oops. There we go. You took care of that for the week.
Terry, I have over 25 houseplants.
25?
I have over 25.
That's too many.
No, it's not. Actually,
how many?
I'll give y'all a quick tour.
How many ferns does one person need?
There's some of them. Oops.
How many is that?
Some more of them.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's 11 in here with me right now.
In that corner, was that just one or was that a couple? That first corner you showed us.
That was 4.
That's 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's too much oxygen. You're gonna get hypoxic.
No, that's the lack of oxygen. It's hypoxic.
Hypoxic. So what's too much oxygen?
Maybe hyper.
Hyperpoxic? Sure, that's what it is. One of those.
Okay, I'm done. Go ahead,
Kellie.
No, my work was good. Christmas was great. Spent some time with my family. So spent the weekend with my parents' house. My nephew, my brothers, my sister-in-law, they all come over on Christmas. So that was a good time. I didn't go anywhere for Christmas. So you guys know I work in the school system. So I was off for 2 weeks. Went back to work Tuesday. Didn't go anywhere. And it was great. I needed that week off to just not do anything. And then the holidays. So I was happy that Christmas was on a Sunday, because then it was like the weekend, you could do holiday, but I had a whole week to just do nothing. New Year's was fun. I didn't go to church, which kind of didn't bother me, but I wanted to, but I didn't. I went to a friend's house and ate very, very well. Did go to church New Year's Day though. So that was
first time not going to church on New Year's Eve?
No, not my first time, but I think I've gone at least most of the times over the last couple of years. At least at noon. Like if I don't go at midnight, I at least go at noon. But I didn't. I just didn't feel like driving. I wanted to find a service on my side of town, but no one was having it this year. And maybe because the back to back, the Saturday, New Year's Eve, Sunday church, that a lot of churches weren't having New Year's Eve services.
And they just had just Sunday services there.
And they just had Sunday service, and the Sunday services in the churches that I frequent were virtual, and I wanted to go in, right? So I was just like, dang, churches ain't churching no more.
Our church did a pre-recorded virtual for New Year's Eve, and then in person at church and online for regular service.
I'm like, how do you not show up to church on Sunday? Like, what? And that may be my traditional upbringing, but that was just crazy to me.
Sure. Well, Sunday was the first of the year, not New Year's Eve.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's what she's saying. So a lot of churches wasn't having New Year's Eve service because they was having New Year's Day service, but then some churches didn't even have New Year's Day service.
They just had it all virtual.
Oh,
okay. They didn't have it in the building.
Yeah, I wonder what New Year's Eve at midnight in the church is like. I bet it's a rager.
So, but overall, my break was great. It was restful. I did a lot of reflecting. The Lord is already kind of stretching me this year in 2023. I was late because I was on a prayer meeting training of sorts. My dad's church is doing 21 days of prayer for 24 hours a day. So every hour on the hour, someone is praying. And so my dad asked me if I would pray. Ooh, child.
For an hour?
No. So you only got to pray for 7 minutes.
Oh, okay. I was like, wow, Kelly.
It's a whole thing within 7 minutes. And so you read a scripture, you do an opening, you pray, you ask for prayer requests, all of this within 7 minutes. And so I don't know, just something in my spirit said I couldn't say no. And I think he's asked me before and I said no. Something this time said, say yes. So I said yes. So today we had training. I do Sundays at like 3 a.m. So hopefully no one's on or they're just coming from the club.
I'm going to call you.
I asked for like 3 a.m. time. And so, yeah, so that's a stretch. My church was also doing a 21-day fast to start the year, which I've done in this was a partial fast, but I've done in like modified versions of it. But this year I kind of wanted to jump in a little more. A lot of it for me is about discipline. I've been able to kind of do what I want, when I want, how I want. As a single woman with a job and no kids, like I really don't have any responsibilities. And so I wanted, before I even thought about the fast, just discipline and self-control and all of that was just kind of on my spirit. And so when the fast came, I remember talking to my dad and I was like, yeah, I think I may do just 7 days. And then I feel like out of the 21. And then I feel like legit the spirit was like, no, Kelly, you're gonna do all 21. Because it's not even that bad.
How you gonna say fuck it in the not even
30%.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna just do 7. Like Lord have mercy.
So yeah. So now I've decided this is day 3. And so now I've just, and like I said, and it's not bad. Water only, no fried foods, no bread, no sweets. So it's really not that bad.
That's not even much of a fast.
Yeah, like I said, it's partial. It's really not that bad.
Yeah.
So
fasting means
all you pretty much eat is salads with a little meat anyway. So just don't get fried meat.
It really is the candy. My little glasses of wine.
Wine is considered sweets.
Sweets, and I can only drink water, so no coffee, no tea.
Gotcha.
So it's the candy and alcohol.
Gotcha.
Kelly,
I thought you were talking about an actual fast. That's what I thought.
I said partial.
Okay, sorry, I didn't hear that.
Well, I mean that is. Hold on, real quick, sorry, Janessa, but that is a fast. Like just because you're not just say because you're fasting in the sense of like the medical term would be not eating, but
right. That's why I think
right. But to go on a spiritual fast, like you can just take something from yourself that that can help your discipline.
Well, yeah, that's like want. That's Lent. That's what they do for Lent. They just whatever thing you like, you don't get to have it for 40 days, whether that be coffee or chocolate or sweets or this or that.
And that's something I've never really committed to. Again, I've never really had to. And like I said, so I'm excited. And so then and you're going to say something, Janessa, but then when my dad brought up the prayer, and even on the prayer meeting today, them even talking about the preparation for prayer, and how you need to consecrate yourself before then. And, when I'm 3:00 Sunday morning. So being intentional about what I'm doing on Saturday nights now, which usually I'm at the house doing nothing, but being intentional about those things so that I can be prepared and ready to pray for people, to pray for the church, to pray for people first thing Sunday morning, whether somebody's on the line or not. I pray that no one is there but me, but whether somebody is on the line or not. So definitely going into the new year, doing some new things. New year, new me. Doing some new things, and I'm scared and excited. But I'm sorry, Janessa.
No, I was just saying that listening to you speak is just confirmation for what I had already did for myself. So before you got on here, one of the things I told the guys that I did was a lot of healing and self-reflection. And I was like, oh, yes, I understand exactly where Kellie's going. And then I don't really have a word for the year. That's never been my thing, but there has been a word on my spirit heavy. And the word is discipline. And so when you're talking about it, I was like, this has been dripping on me so bad for like the past 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So for you to just kind of be talking about it and talking about it like spiritual discipline, because I know that's something that I struggle with. I'll be strong at reading the Bible for a little bit, and then weeks and months and be like, haven't touched it or whatever. So it's just, wow. I wasn't anticipating you saying any of that. I thought you was gonna be like, oh, I had a great holiday with my family and
right
had a good time. You know what I'm saying? Like, not all these convictions. We have some similar convictions going on, girl.
It's been real, but I'm super nervous, super excited. Again, as you talk about reflection, one other thing I want to say before my time is up is that when I think about something that has gotten me through the last year, at the end of the year, you think about important things. It is truly, and I know sometimes I don't want to be here, but it is truly looking forward to seeing you guys every Wednesday and being here. That I think sometimes anyway, I'll leave that alone. But but I definitely feel like for the last 2 years, you guys have definitely helped hold me together. So I love you. I appreciate you. I'm glad we're here in 2023. It's crazy to think we started in 2020.
Well, if that's true, why were you so eager to not do a show last week?
I don't need a break. We could go to every other week and I'll be all right. But I'm here. Hey, y'all. Sorry to interrupt, but we have a few church announcements. Follow us on Instagram at The Worst Ones PK. New content coming soon. We also have a TikTok at The Worst Ones PK. No content yet, but continue to check us out. If you when you listen to our podcast, you can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you find your podcast. Just make sure you type in The Worst Ones Podcast and you'll find us. And when you get there, make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe, and you share. Thank you to our 500,422 followers. We love you so much. Now, back to the show.
Just going back to your fat, like, you should try. Have you ever done like a full on fast? Mm-hmm. Apparently, I was talking to my doctor about it earlier this year because I did one earlier this year, and they said, well, actually, it's super healthy. It's good for you to take a break from food for a while. Now, they said don't go more than 7 days. But oh my God, the energy. Like the first 2 days, once you get past the first 2 days, those are the hardest. But once you get past them, your energy goes through the roof. Like you can't imagine the energy. And it just starts, because your body just starts burning all this fuel that it's got laying around, and you get so energetic, it's crazy.
Well, I'm glad you said that. I may this week we just gonna have to do the fast between Monday and Sunday. But for the next we gonna do the fast the way it is now because I can handle this for now. But in my last 2 weeks, maybe I will spice it up, challenge myself a little more. Maybe I can't do 7 days no eating, but maybe I can do, a whole day no eating or 6 to 6 no food or something like that, just to challenge myself a little more.
Yeah, no, I did 7 days and still felt like a failure because my father he was big on it. Every year he would do a fast every year. And his record is 33 days.
Mm-mm.
That's crazy, right?
That is absolutely crazy.
I know. That's what I told him.
6 to 6.
That's
and it may
dangerous.
be 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. No, I'm playing. 6
But he swears by it. He says he never feels closer to God than, like 3 weeks into not eating. And I'm like, yeah, because you're about to meet him. That's why. That's why you feel close to him. You haven't eaten for a month, dude. Like, you're gonna die.
Right. No, that's real.
I don't suggest anybody go that hard on it.
No.
That's crazy. He's a madman.
No. So.
Hey, no offense, Kelly, but is all that your hair?
Yes.
Your hair is really long.
Yes, and it's real something right now up here. I'm glad it looks like it's a lot, and so it makes me feel good because right now it's just something on top of my head, a bird's nest.
If it wasn't, would you say so?
I would.
Would you?
I would.
I'd just lie.
No.
Be like, yep, it's all me.
No, this is no. If I purchase something to look like this, shame on me. This is mine.
Alrighty. Okay. Well, I'm good.
What about your holiday?
Was that Rudy?
Rudy? Yeah, I was just gonna.
What did you do?
Christmas Day, we had church. That's when we did the play.
Wait, is that a Christmas play?
Yeah, but he did not give nor receive a gift from anyone. Just make sure that's.
Grinch didn't.
What was it? An old school Christmas play? Did y'all have speeches?
I sent you the link.
Honey, it looked like they in regular clothes. I'm like, where did Jesus suit?
I'm gonna look at it because I like me a good old Christmas play.
Not a good old Christmas play.
Good old. And an Easter one too.
Okay.
They be having those sheep tying them and stuff.
Don't even start. Don't even start.
Y'all know what I'm talking about, dude.
That's so funny.
I do. I was in one of those Easter plays. They did 4 shows over the weekend for Easter, and it's 2,000 tickets sold for each show.
Oh wow!
It was huge, and I'll never do it again. That was like a Broadway production, but you don't get paid. Mm-mm.
So Easter play, go ahead, Rudy.
Sorry, I didn't need it.
Christmas play, right?
Christmas play.
Who were you in the Christmas play?
Well, I was Jesus by default because I couldn't find anybody, but I wrote and directed, which was the purpose. But Jesus,
that's nice.
Yeah, but I had the least amount of speaking roles, so I was able to focus on directing and not have to worry about acting as much as other people did. So
I'm gonna watch it.
So you're coming out and saying Jesus was black. Okay, got it.
Sure, whatever. I don't know, but
I'm trying to spice up this holiday story hour we got going here.
It's been pretty spicy. But yeah, that was pretty much it. And then New Year's, we had New Year's Eve watch night service. We didn't have Sunday, so we didn't come right back in Sunday. So.
Y'all not churching? Tell me the church is not churching.
Well,
that's a lot to ask to do New Year's Eve and then New Year's Day.
Because we also had breakfast, like free breakfast afterwards. So we did, like, a lot of people didn't leave till probably 2-3 in the morning. So then they come right back.
Yeah.
So Pastor Wilson, whether it was 10 people, 1 person, 1,000 people at 11 o'clock on Sunday, could have had service, could have had some breakfast.
But it's not even about the attendance. It's about the people who have to participate in service, the singers, the musicians.
He could have done that all by himself.
Oh, okay. Did you? What did you do? Let's talk about that.
Kellie getting militant in 2023.
What did I do when?
On any Sundays, any service, any.
I showed up.
You went to your friend's house.
I showed up
and sipped your last glass of wine before you fasted. That's all you did.
My champagne toast at midnight.
Right. You complain about everybody else not having service in Atlanta and everything. Why you ain't have no service?
The Spirit of the Lord will work it out.
You could have when you went to your friend's house. Y'all could have had service there.
I prayed into midnight. I turned on the service.
Did you have service?
I turned it on and watched it.
See what I'm saying?
It's a lot of judgment in this room right now.
See what I'm saying?
And I'm just laughing at all of y'all.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, but I mean that's pretty much what my break consisted. Every other day was pretty much a regular day. But it was dope though. I mean, you know, I had a good time being regular. So yeah.
Regular degular.
But I am glad to see all you guys. Glad to see Janessa back in the swing of things.
Made my mouth.
Made it to the new year. Thank you, Lord.
Okay. So, the topic for tonight at 40 minutes in.
I was gonna say, do we even need a topic?
Right. I said because I feel like that topic is a good one.
We might want to save that for next week.
Okay, so what do y'all want to talk about for 23 minutes?
Churchin's not churching.
I think she's already set us down on this. Even though you had a midnight service on New Year's Eve and she didn't.
Our church is churching the way they used to. Is it so? Before we go, so Rudy, your father's church had watch night service, but you did not have Sunday service. Mm-hmm. Janessa, what did you guys do?
We had a pre-recorded service for watch night, and then in person and online regular service. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Terry, what about the church you attend?
Well, just like Jesus with the loaves and the fishes, I fed the masses for New Year's. That's what I did.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I fed the poor and the needy.
So I'll say this. Two of the churches I definitely understand it is a lot to ask of pastors and the what are the helpers, the ministers, the ministry workers. That's what I'm looking for. The ministry workers to come back to back on a holiday. I definitely understand that.
I don't think it was so much about it being a holiday, more or less just the time frame. That was just like if you had an all-night prayer service and then came back on Sunday. Like it still would be.
But the reason why you had the Saturday night was because it was a holiday, right?
But what I'm saying is, it was once again, if it wasn't a holiday, and we would have still been there late for a different reason, it still would have warranted not having service. Is what I'm saying. So it's not pinned on it being a holiday.
So that's where I disagree, because you have church on Sunday.
No, but but if we were there all Saturday night for like an all night prayer meeting, and we didn't leave till 3:00 in the morning, and then we didn't have service on Sunday, that would be the same thing.
No, see, and I think that's where I disagree. And to me, having an all night prayer service is beautiful and definitely should be done, but that is not a reason to not have service the next day.
I'm not saying whether it's a valid reason or not. What I'm saying is that
I'm just saying that I don't think that it is
for sure. But what I'm saying is, but us not having service on New Year's Eve and then not having a Sunday, it wasn't because it's New Year's Day, so we want to give people the day off for New Year's Day. It was. So we're already here on Saturday, and so then you just don't.
Well, technically, you were there on Sunday too. Anytime past midnight
at breakfast, right?
Yeah.
So.
But Kellie's not going to be happy unless
he wasn't worshiping after the 12.
Yeah, Kellie's not going to be happy till we have a 3-day, 3-night revival coming into the new year.
And again, and I realize sometimes of myself when I have this very traditional thought process of you have service on Sunday. And when I look at my dad being one of the only pastors that had 3 services on Saturday, and 2 on Sunday, I understand where, my thought process comes from. Now, my dad didn't preach the 3 services on Sunday. He was on Saturday. He was there all day Saturday, but he had guest preachers. And then he came and he preached Sunday. But the way that what has been ingrained in my spirit, it is that there is absolutely no reason why you do not have church on Sunday. Like Kevin Lee not having it. I don't care what it is, and maybe on the flip side, it is a bit inconsiderate to your ministry workers. I don't know, I don't know. Or maybe he has enough ministry workers where the same people don't have to come, both days, where
and I was going to say that, and he also has a big congregation, you know what I'm saying? So like, you're not, when you're at a place where, even just say like the difference between going to a HBCU and a big, just say like, PWI, like, when Risa was at Auburn, like she was, number 267 out of 400. You know what I'm saying? When I was at Waters, my teacher knew my name personally. We had each other's phone numbers because the class is just that small. So when you have that level of communication in a smaller congregation, and to your point, you have less workers. Like it's only one set of people doing everything. It's not a whatever rotation or whatever the case may be. The consideration and all that type of stuff is just more there because you're just in a different world. But your dad not only has a different world as far as behind the scenes, but even with the congregation, like you have to think about everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like who attends your church and you don't have the direct communication to ask everybody individually, like, hey, what you think about if we don't have church on Sunday or whatever the case may be? Like there's a level of, to whom much is given, much is required, that he's not only, I think it's in him already, but he also has that mantle where what's in him can just say cover the masses, because some people ain't gonna come on Sunday, you feel what I'm saying, and Saturday, but there's some people who may go to all 5 services. You have to think about both, is what I'm saying, especially with a congregation that big.
Right. And I think however he sliced it, it worked. Yeah. He had, the people show up New Year's Eve. He had the people show up New Year's Day. Yeah. And so however he did it, ministry workers, everything, went out, but I think my point, and again, I get it. I get, just being a podcaster today. And right.
You're not saying nothing wrong.
Right. Just, but it bothered me so much for some reason that churches didn't have service on Sunday. I just could not understand that. Having an alternative watch night or New Year's Eve service, I got that. But not having service on Sunday, that just blew my mind. Like I had never heard of such a thing before. Like it was such a foreign concept to me that and then multiple churches. I'm like, okay, so maybe just this one church. Because I go to like this multicultural church. So I was like, okay, all right, I can see. But the black church, they don't have church on Sunday.
Right.
No.
Was it a Baptist church?
Huh?
Was it a Baptist church?
Not denomination. Because they've always said, but again, I've always gone to their New Year's Eve service. Well, I haven't always, but I've gone to their New Year's Eve service before, and I've gone to their church service. But of course, once in every 7 years, do we have this back-to-back situation like we did this year?
Well, I get it. I mean, don't know a time where we haven't had church on Sunday. I think we've missed it maybe once or twice because it might have been ice and people couldn't get there safely.
Or the pandemic.
Something like that. Now, we don't know the full story. Maybe they had an emergency.
No, it was planned.
Oh, it was planned?
It was planned.
Well, yeah, I was trying to give them the benefit of the doubt.
It was a huge church and it's planned.
I don't know.
But I get it in the sense of kind of what we've been talking about before, or what we talked about in the last couple of weeks about the shift and the change in church in general.
Right.
That millennials, Gen Zs, like we're not showing up the church the way we used to in person.
And the people that are in leadership are old now. You know what I'm saying? So like you trying to act like what they could do when they was 30, 40s, even 50s. It's harder to do 60. You know, but that's why even like with your dad having, you know, that was smart for him to stretch it out. Like, okay, I'm gonna have these services, but I'm gonna have niggas coming in preaching.
Right.
Like, you feel what I'm saying? Then I'll take care of Sunday or whatever. But I'm sure if he was 25, Kevin, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Whatever, like he could knock out all 5. You feel me? Like, so it's a
but 60.
Right. He not like we're gonna conduct him and I'll even be there. You feel me? But I'm not finna be up there because it's a, and that, you know, even that's a thing. I don't want to call it an issue, but even just say being able to pass the torch, especially to, you got preachers kids like us who don't want that motherfucker. And then you got even other people our age who don't want that motherfucker. So it's like they just gotta just take it to their grave. They just gotta be old ass leaders and preachers and stuff. You feel what I'm saying? We got the same expectation. You need to have all your services, but we also, and people under us also, ain't stepping up to make sure, you know what I'm saying, whatever. So it's like, you know.
So quick question, because I think I wasn't here when y'all had it. What was kind of the general gist of was it Gen Z church or millennials church? What were y'all talking about?
Oh, I was just saying we didn't have like a full out conversation, but I just know we've talked about in the last year that you know, just the way that churches have to pull, and even when you've been here, like the way churches have had to pull in the younger generation. So for example, when we had the conversation about Eddie Long and the marijuana.
Oh yeah.
You know, when
what's
you know,
not Eddie, it's Jamal.
Not Eddie Long, but Newberg, not Eddie Long, right? Rest in peace. But Jamal Bryant. And the weed situation, you know, and then Terry always brings up he wants a smoking section in the bar in the back, you know, of the church. You know, again, with the pandemic and then just the way of the world anyway, virtual service is more desirable for certain groups of people than going into church. I think I've just been trained to go into church and I really don't have the attention span to watch from home, which is why I go. But otherwise, I would probably be one to prefer online church. I feel like most of my peer group would prefer to go online than to go in person at this point.
I'm a kind of split. Some days I do online and some days I do go in. Like sometimes I do have a itching or earning to like be in the physical building. But then there are also times where I feel just as ministered to from the comfort of my couch. So I get it. I think, yeah, it's definitely, I think one thing COVID did was it showed the church community a different way that church can be done.
Absolutely.
And I know I came from an upbringing where like you did not miss church, you did not watch church unless you were sick or unless you were out of town and could not physically be there. But if you was of able body and, you know, in the vicinity, you were supposed to be there. But COVID kind of showed everybody that you can actually still minister and get ministered to and not necessarily be in the house of the Lord, in the actual church body. And so I know like y'all are talking now, getting people back into the church, getting people back into pews or seats or whatever has been a real challenge, because once upon a time it was like, no. And then the world changed. And now all of a sudden you can't use that same rhetoric to try to get people to come. So yeah, I definitely get that. Now I still don't know about why the church wasn't open on Sunday. I don't know.
Like I said, it was a struggle for me, but I get it. I get it in Rudy's situation, definitely given the perspective from a smaller church where you have one group of people who do everything, that as a pastor, your father had to make a choice of, you know, Saturday service or Sunday service, you know, and the thought from the congregation may have been, we want to end this, you know, you kind of did both, you know, in the sense of you had your little breakfast in the morning, and you were still in church on the first day of the year. But it was, like I said, it was just such a strange concept to me, where I was really looking for New Year's services and I couldn't find it.
Did they have a New Year's Eve service in person?
They didn't even have a New Year's Eve service at all. These are two churches that I go to, pretty popular here in Atlanta. And they didn't. They had Christmas service. They had Christmas Eve services, but they didn't have Christmas service. And so yeah. And so I don't know. Do you give your ministry, whatever, staff a break for the holiday? Do you give them off for the holiday? And which is why we decided to do Christmas Eve and not Christmas, which is why we decided to forego, New Year's Eve service. I don't know, but it was just such a strange concept for me because it was just not what I'm accustomed to.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like I said, I don't even know if I ever remember a New Year's Eve falling on like a Saturday like that. Not to my knowledge, and then having to go to church. I don't know, but to my
yes, I can't remember before this year, right?
Yeah,
it happened 7 years ago, but
right.
I can because my church did breakfast like right afterwards, and so I remember it. It was a long day and a long night because this was back when church was churching. In person.
When church was churching, right?
Church was churching in person, so it was like, and I don't know, Rudy, if you remember, like when New Beginning used to have watch night service that started at 8 p.m. and it went. I
don't know if I ever remember.
Oh my gosh, it went from 8 p.m. to midnight, and like the first 2 hours was like testimony time, and
I see y'all.
They took up all 2 hours to do testimony, okay, and I had to be there. But sorry to cut you off.
No, you good. I was just saying, another thing too. When y'all was talking about like going to church and you could do it at home or whatever, the main thing that motivates me to go to church, like even throughout my years growing up, was having something to do when I got there. Like, and I feel like that same way even about college. Like I always tell people, I couldn't be just a regular college student. Like me playing football and joining a fraternity, all these different things like helped my experience. Like it helped me have something to do. Even going to church, like growing up, I always was an usher or sang in the choir or junior deacon or playing the instrument or, working the camera or whatever the case may be. Like, but me just trying to just go, like just to be just a member there and only go, like it wouldn't work for me. You know what I'm saying? So, that's really my motivation now. If I ain't having nothing to do in church, because I've been in those positions even fairly recently, in recent years, where I wasn't in a position to like do something at somebody's church, and I ain't go like that. Like I was watching it online, but me having a purpose,
So you're an all or nothing guy. Like if you're in all the way, 100%.
That is true, but I don't know if that's congruent with what I was talking about. But that is a fact about me, though. Yes.
Well, no, I see it with your comedy. So it matches up perfectly with your feelings about the church. You'd be like, no, if I'm going to be here, I'm going to have a job. I'm going to do things. I'm going to be involved.
Well, I'm not going to necessarily say that. I'm just saying I think having a job helps my attendance is what I'm saying. Like it gives me purpose on going outside of solely, participating in service as a congregation member. Like to me, that's not enough. Like I don't be, like I hear the word while I'm doing something. Not
right. You're saying it's easier when you have those extra responsibilities. It's easier to get you to, make sure you commit.
As far as going into the building.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I feel the same way. Whenever I was given a job, it was always much more important that I be there,
Yeah.
Because I felt like I didn't want to let other people down, know, because I used to have jobs.
Yeah. And shit I be taking on, like it's actually part of the service. Like if I'm not there to do it, then there's something noticeably missing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I used to run the sound or, have to set up the, lunch afterwards or something like that. It was always, 3 alarms that day, Make sure you get up. Make sure you get there.
I got you. But I mean, that's all I had though. I don't know if nobody else had.
Nope. I do have a question. So when you're watching church from home, let's say the church service is an hour and a half. Are you eating breakfast? Are you like, what do you do? Are you just sitting there for the whole time? Do you like, what does that look like? Like from home, like I'm cooking, I'm washing dishes.
It's not even on the whole hour and a half.
What you mean? What you just turn on for the script for the sermon?
Sometimes.
For whatever. Sometimes it be just the singing. And then the sermon come on, I be like, nah.
Not today.
It just depends on who it is. Like I don't necessarily.
I don't need to hear about Jonah again.
I'm just saying, like whoever preaching, like they come on, it sound like okay, this is a good little premise. But if they come on, I'm like, okay, yeah, the singer was good enough, and I just. Or sometimes it be vice versa. Like I done miss a singer, but even if the preaching trash, I'll still hang in there because I miss the song. But I'll be in there.
Yeah, Kelly, I'm a little all over the place with that. Sometimes I'm sitting there just watching it. Sometimes I'm cooking breakfast, folding clothes, making the bed, whatevering. And it's kind of like especially if the choir is singing, like I'm not necessarily just gonna sit there and be like, y'all doing yeah, like I'm not that's usually when I'm like walking around. To me, it's kind of like listening to my gospel music on my Alexa, Pandora, whatever. It's just kind of playing in the room. But typically when the sermon is going forth, I typically maybe sit down because I do sometimes take notes or pull out my Bible, highlight some scriptures. So I need to be a little bit focused. Now, what I probably do also is when they say amen, the doors of the church are open. That's also when I promptly press exit because
I can't.
I typically
I need that benediction. I need that covering prayer at the end. I remember we used to go to this church in New York, and they used to do the offering right after the sermon before the benediction. And the way they did the offering was, when you had to walk up to the front. And so many people would, after they did their offering, whether they put something in the plate or not, they would leave. And so Risa, tell all her business, was one of those people. And every time when I was like, no, like I gotta stay for my covering. Like I need the benediction. Like for me, if I don't get nothing else, I need that prayer at the end. Right. Cover my week.
We don't do that. We don't do the prayer at the end.
I need that. And so I have to, and I hate when they draw it out at the end, because when they doing the call to worship and all of that, you like, or what's the thing? Whatever it's called when they come to the altar. Altar call. There it is.
It's right there in the name.
Right. I couldn't get it. The altar call. Right. Because then it's like at this point, like I'm not going to the front for prayer. And so you kind of just there, but I'm like, but I cannot turn it off. I've got to stay for that prayer.
I turned off because at my dad's church, they do like announcements. My mom does a recap. It's like all this other stuff that when I do be at church, I'm ready to go. I'm already ready to go. So no, I will turn it off. So I'm a mix between it. I agree, Rudy. Like I'm not always listening to all the service. And I'm gonna be real honest. Sometimes if like they're singing a song that I'm not like really feeling, or maybe the parts aren't quite right. This is horrible. Please forgive me, God. I will mute it. And then I'll play a song on my Alexa that I like. It sounds horrible.
That's fine. It's fine.
And then when the sermon,
I ain't even play a song, but go ahead.
When the sermon comes on, then I'll unmute it.
That's fine. I the music portion is my least favorite part of the service.
What?
So I understand.
I love
completely.
the music part. That's why
I'm sure you do.
Like I really needed to set the atmosphere. That's why I gotta have some good.
I guess.
Some good
I mean,
music.
You know, I just mean
that's I guess that's the difference at a white church.
I was gonna say it, but I didn't want to.
Do you really want to hear 500 white people try to sing?
I didn't want to pop out. I didn't want to pop out 2023 races, so I was like, I'm gonna.
No, go ahead. It's fine.
I was definitely gonna say that. I was like, it's a difference in the.
No.
Oh, music. Yeah.
Crackers can take it. It's fine. We're okay.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Online churches, it's gonna be multitasking. Like, ain't nobody sitting there all, even back in the day when my mom was watching Noel Jones, TD Jakes them on TV, like it was still a level of multitasking, even if it was during the commercial breaks or whatever. Like they got to come, tend to us real quick, because we hollering about something. But either way. You know what I'm saying? If you at home, like I think that's why even people work from home, like you got that luxury to do things from home that you can't do if you're physically there. But I guess the real question is, and we don't got to talk about today, is being physically there versus being at home. Like, is it more important to actually be there versus watching it online? Like,
and then my question is, do you feel guilty when you're not fully engaged? Like I said, when you're like me, cooking breakfast or washing dishes or doing chores. Like sometimes I feel guilty about that because
now you're just doing it out of obligation. Like I just got it on just to say
right. It's Sunday morning at 8, so I'm here. So yeah.
One thing
I feel like they'll take it either way, but they'd prefer you be there.
I think one thing that I'm trying to do is because we multitask in life so much in general, like just. Even now, I was doing a little shopping while we're doing this podcast, but I think it's still very important for me that even if I'm like multitasking during church or muting the choir and listening to Kirk Franklin or whatever, it's important to have that one-on-one quiet time with God for me. So if I don't get it Sunday, for me, as long as I'm getting it, that's what's important. Because at the end of the day, at least for me, it's a heart check situation. Kind of like you were saying, are you doing it out of obligation? Or are you doing it because you're trying to develop and build this relationship with God? And I think that God really would not, I want to say he wouldn't care whether you were in the church building, on the side of the street, in a coffee shop, at your house. Like he just wants that fellowship and that relationship. Now, having a church community and being, in worship and all these things with other Christ-like sisters and brothers in Christ, that's great too. And I think there is definitely a space for that too. But I don't think that it's a requirement for God that you are at church, in the church building every Sunday, between the hours of 12 and 1 or 10 and 1 to worship God. Like, I don't think that's how he operates. I could be wrong though.
I agree. I don't think that's how he operates either. Most of the closest moments I've ever had were nowhere near a church. So, it's where you're at, not where the building's at,
Amen.
All right. So announcements. Church announcements.
You can find me at Princess Kels 51. So I did a poll and asked people whether I should stay private or go public. 50% of the people said stay private.
They did not.
I promise you.
I was in the other group. I voted.
I want to audit these numbers. This election was stolen.
That's because they're already in. The people who are still private and they can't vote. So
they can't vote.
People that's already in, they're like, we don't give a fuck about them other people. Like,
exactly. They're in the VIP. They're beyond the velvet rope. So they're like, let's keep it private. Let's keep it private.
But it was funny. I had 3 options: keep it private, go public, or you don't post that much anyway. And so 50% said keep it private. And then it was kind of split. It was like 26-24% said you don't post anyway, go public. So
so basically you're gonna do
so we'll see what happens in the new year.
You're gonna do what you want to do anyway, basically.
At Princess Kel's 51 though, 2 L's.
All right. Jay Rihanna, we've been shouting you out while you were gone too, just let you know.
Huh?
I said we've been shouting you out while you was gone too.
Oh, y'all so sweet.
Absolutely.
Oh no, I didn't. I was like, no, you're either here or nothing.
Not all the times you've been at your comedy shows.
All right, Terry.
Gotta keep the lights on.
What was I gonna say? Jay Rihanna __ we do have fun over there. If you've been on my page recently, you saw our family.
It was cute.
What
Matters?
What sitcom was that?
Family Matters, wasn't it?
Yes, our Family Matters intro, and then I had a little Beyonce New Year's Eve reel over there. So I'll be trying to do a little something.
Well, anytime you need an Urkel, I'm here for you. So.
I don't think we need one of those. We need a Stefan. Okay.
Oh well, I mean, hang on. Let me do the hair, and then we'll.
You gotta go in the machine and
right.
And what? Yeah, I need to go in the machine, lose 40 pounds, and then come back out, and I'll be set.
and
that's it.
At Terry Wayne Comedy, soon coming to the southern region. Be in Nashville in March. So comedy scene's good up there. I'll be doing that. Also, Unclaimed Ashes on Amazon. You can buy it right now. Kindle, paperback, hardcover. And yes, I'm working on an audio version. So you can listen to me, drone on in your car while you're sitting in Atlanta traffic.
All righty. Well, that's it.
Rudy, you really doing this in 2023?
Say it again.
There's not going to be a Rudy of all trades in 2023. You really doing this?
The year doesn't change anything for me. It's
the Grinch. He don't have no holidays. No.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you don't do it, then you can't say Rudy of all trades because that's one trade you're not doing.
Okay. So I'm going to ignore all of that. And we're going to say thank you guys for listening and watching. God bless you. Happy New Year. And we will see you next week.
Top of the world.